Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Stan Lee, the legendary architect of the Marvel Universe. Stan Lee, born Stanley Martin Lieber on December 28, 1922, in New York City, stands as one of the most influential figures in modern popular culture. As a writer, editor, and creative visionary, Lee helped revolutionize the comic book industry and shape the modern superhero mythos. His work at Marvel Comics not only redefined storytelling in graphic literature but also laid the foundation for one of the world's most successful multimedia franchises. Early life and entry into comics. Growing up during the Great Depression, Stan Lee developed an early interest in storytelling, nurtured by books, films, and pulp magazines. In 1939, at just 17 years old, he landed a job at Timely Comics, Marvel's precursor, working as an office assistant. Before long, he began writing filler stories and soon worked his way up to interim editor during World War II, becoming one of the youngest comic editors in the business. During his military service, Lee was part of the Signal Corps, contributing as a writer of training materials and posters. This period further sharpened his storytelling abilities, setting the stage for the creative surge that would define his career. The creation of Marvel's iconic heroes, the 1960s, marked the golden era of Stan Lee's creativity. Alongside legendary artists like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, Lee co-created a vast roster of superheroes who combined extraordinary powers with relatable human flaws. Instead of untouchable icons, Lee's heroes struggled with self-doubt, family problems, and moral dilemmas. Among his most significant creations were Spider-Man, a teenage hero dealing with responsibility and personal loss; the Fantastic Four, a superhero family with interpersonal conflicts; the X-Men, allegorical heroes embodying themes of prejudice and identity; Hulk, a symbol of anger, duality, and uncontrolled power; Black Panther, the first black superhero in mainstream American comics; Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Thor, Iron Man, and many others. Lee's narrative approach emphasized character development, serialized story arcs, and emotional depth. His Marvel method, a collaborative style that allowed artists greater freedom before Lee added dialogue, was innovative and influential. Cultural impact and legacy. Stan Lee's characters transcended the pages of comic books, becoming cultural icons whose stories resonate across generations. His vision helped shape the modern superhero genre, leading to film and television adaptations that became global phenomena. In his later years, Lee became Marvel's most recognizable ambassador. His trademark cameos in Marvel films, dynamic personality, and continued engagement with fans made him a beloved figure worldwide. Lee also championed social issues through his work. His Stan's Soapbox editorials addressed racism, bigotry, and equality, showcasing his belief that comics could inspire positive change. Later years and passing. Even after stepping back from daily editorial duties, Lee remained involved in creative projects, appearances, and new ventures. He continued developing original stories and supported new generations of writers, artists, and fans. Stan Lee passed away on November 12, 2018, leaving behind a monumental legacy. His influence is felt not only in comic books but across film, television, gaming, and global pop culture. A timeless creative titan, Stan Lee's impact endures in every heroic story that celebrates bravery, humanity, and imagination. His creations continue to inspire millions, reminding the world that anyone, no matter how ordinary, can become a hero. As the driving force behind Marvel's success and a pioneer of storytelling, Stan Lee's legacy remains immortal, echoing through every Excelsior he ever spoke. Stan Lee, the visionary storyteller who brought Marvel to life. Few creators in entertainment history have left as profound and lasting an impact as Stan Lee. As the driving creative force behind Marvel Comics, Lee reshaped the superhero genre, introduced emotionally complex characters, and established a storytelling universe that has influenced generations of readers and audiences worldwide. His life was one defined by imagination, innovation, and an unshakable belief in the power of stories. Early life. The formation of a dreamer. Stanley Martin Lieber was born on December 28, 1922, to Romanian immigrant parents living in Manhattan. Growing up during the economic hardship of the Great Depression taught him resilience and fueled his desire to escape into stories. Lee devoured adventure novels, classic films, and heroic tales, early inspirations that would later echo through his work. His career began not through glamour but humility. At age 17, he joined Timely Comics as an assistant, performing tasks such as filling inkwells and proofreading pages. By the early 1940s, he had written his first published text filler and adopted the pen name, Stan Lee, believing he would later use his birth name for a serious literary career. Rise at Marvel. Transforming a medium in 1961, after many years of conventional comic writing, Stan Lee seriously considered leaving the industry. But a suggestion from his wife, Joan, changed everything. She encouraged him to write the kind of stories he truly wanted to tell, even if it meant taking risks. That advice sparked the creation of the Fantastic Four, co-created with Jack Kirby. Unlike typical superheroes of the era, the team argued, doubted, laughed, and loved like real people. The title's success opened the door to a creative explosion at Marvel. Over the next decade, Lee co-created some of the most beloved characters in comic book history. Key contributions: Spider-Man, a teenage everyman dealing with responsibility, guilt, and adolescent struggles. Iron Man, a flawed industrialist confronting personal demons and the ethics of power. The Hulk, a metaphor for anger and internal conflict. Thor, mythological grandeur blended with modern storytelling. Black Widow and Hawkeye, agents grounded in espionage, not superpowers. Black Panther, the groundbreaking ruler of Wakanda, the first mainstream black superhero. Doctor Strange, a surreal exploration of mysticism and self-transformation. The X-Men, mutants whose stories reflected themes of prejudice, discrimination, and civil rights. Lee's genius was not just in character creation, it was in crafting heroes with vulnerability. His characters had financial problems, family crises, heartbreak, anxiety, and real-world dilemmas. This human approach deeply resonated with readers and helped Marvel dominate the industry. The Marvel Method, collaborative creativity. Stan Lee pioneered what became known as the Marvel Method, a unique process that gave artists significant creative freedom. Lee provided a broad plot outline. The artist, Kirby, Ditko, or others, created the visual storytelling and pacing. Lee wrote dialogue and narration after the art was completed. This method allowed for faster production of multiple titles, greater artistic innovation, dynamic, visually driven narratives. It was both efficient and revolutionary, though at times controversial, leading to later debates about credit. Regardless, it produced some of the most iconic comic works ever made. Cultural and ethical influence. Beyond entertainment, Stan Lee used comics to comment on society. His editorials in Stan's Soapbox boldly addressed racism, equality, compassion, and the importance of standing up for what's right. He famously wrote, "Bigotry and racism are among the deadliest social ills plaguing the world today." Through heroes and villains, Lee explored topics such as identity, moral conflict, and societal responsibility. Marvel became a platform not only for escapism but for cultural reflection. pop culture icon and film cameos as Marvel's cinematic universe exploded in the 21st century. Stan Lee became beloved for his witty cameo appearances. From bus drivers and librarians to FedEx workers and military officers, his surprise moments delighted fans worldwide. His presence symbolized Marvel's roots and celebrated his lifelong connection to the characters he helped create. Later ventures and continued creativity. Even after leaving his editorial role at Marvel in the 1970s, Lee's creative energy never slowed. He worked on animated series, new comic projects, convention appearances, global fan outreach, new hero concepts, including Stripperella, Mighty Seven, and various multimedia characters. His charisma, humor, and signature exclamation, "Excelsior," made him a cherished figure in comic culture. Personal life. Stan Lee was married to Joan Bukak Lee for 69 years, a partnership he often described as the foundation of his creative courage. They had one daughter, J.C. Lee. Joan's passing in 2017 deeply affected him, but he continued engaging with fans until his health declined. Passing an immortal legacy. Stan Lee died on November 12, 2018, at age 95. His death marked the end of an era but not the end of his influence. The Marvel Universe he helped build has become one of the most successful entertainment franchises in history, spanning films, television, animation, gaming, merchandise, and global fan communities. His characters continue to inspire messages of heroism, inclusivity, and hope. Every heroic journey, from the streets of Queens to the cosmic realms of space, echoes Stan Lee's belief that anyone can make a difference. Conclusion. The eternal superhero of imagination. Stan Lee wasn't just a writer or editor, he was an architect of dreams. His stories transcended ink and paper to shape worldwide culture. He redefined what it means to be a hero, proving that greatness often lies in human struggle, compassion, and heart. His legacy lives on every time a new generation discovers the magic of Marvel, demonstrating that storytelling, when done with passion and sincerity, can change the world. Excelsior, Stan Lee, today and always. Stan Lee. Expanding the legacy of Marvel's mastermind. While Stan Lee's name is synonymous with Marvel, his story extends far beyond the boundaries of comic books. His career spans decades of industry transformation, creative evolution, and cultural impact. To understand his full legacy, it's essential to explore not only his creations but also the way he shaped the business of comics, influenced global storytelling, and navigated the challenges that came with pioneering a new artistic era. Stan Lee and the transformation of Marvel Comics. A struggling publisher turned cultural powerhouse when Lee began rising through the ranks at Timely Comics, later Marvel. The comic industry was unstable. Superheroes dominated during wartime but waned in popularity in the late 1940s and 50s. Timely shifted toward romance, westerns, sci-fi, and monster stories, with Lee writing across all genres. Marvel's revival in the 1960s was nothing short of extraordinary. The launch of the Fantastic Four led to an explosion of creativity, attracting a new wave of readers who saw Marvel's characters as more modern, complex, and relatable than the clean-cut heroes at other publishers. Lee's leadership helped transform Marvel into a dynamic brand with interconnected storytelling, character-driven plotlines, multiple overlapping universes, a strong fan community. He cultivated a sense of family among fans, referring to readers as part of the Merry Marvel Marching Society. Partnerships and creative chemistry with Jack Kirby. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby formed one of the most influential partnerships in comic history. Their collaborative works included Fantastic Four, The Avengers, The X-Men, Black Panther, Thor, Inhumans, Silver Surfer. Kirby's explosive, cosmic artistic style paired with Lee's witty, emotional storytelling created a unique synergy that defined Marvel's golden age. With Steve Ditko, Lee co-created Spider-Man. Doctor Strange. Ditko's surreal, intricate artwork matched Lee's introspective writing, especially in Doctor Strange's psychedelic worlds and Spider-Man's quiet, personal struggles. Despite creative disagreements, the impact of these collaborations remains unparalleled. Innovations in storytelling. Flawed heroes. Stan Lee's heroes were groundbreaking because they weren't perfect. Spider-Man worried about rent and schoolwork. The Hulk feared himself. Thor's arrogance often created conflict. Iron Man faced alcoholism and moral dilemmas. The X-Men were symbols of marginalized communities. These layers of humanity helped redefine superhero narratives for decades to come. Shared universe structure. Before the Marvel era, most comic stories were isolated. Lee introduced characters crossing into each other's stories, events affecting multiple titles, recurring villains, and shared locations, a unified timeline. This format paved the way for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, now a global phenomenon. Stan's soapbox. The moral voice of Marvel. One of Lee's most lasting contributions was the editorial column, Stan's Soapbox. In it, he addressed racism, prejudice, war, violence, equality, free speech. His tone was direct yet uplifting. He believed that comics, and their creators, had a social responsibility to promote empathy and unity. His message remains relevant today. Stan Lee as a cultural icon, public persona with his distinctive mustache, sunglasses, and energetic enthusiasm. Stan Lee became Marvel's most recognizable public figure. His charisma helped introduce Marvel to audiences through conventions, television interviews, documentaries, cameos in movies. He thrived as a showman, representing the fun and adventure of the Marvel brand. Signature catchphrases. Lee's signature expressions became beloved fan staples. Excelsior, meaning ever upward. Face front, true believers. Nuff said. These catchphrases reflected his optimistic, enthusiastic spirit. Challenges, disputes, and controversies. Lee's career was not without challenges. Creator credit disputes. Some artists felt Lee received too much public credit for Marvel's success. Debates over co-creation, especially with Kirby and Ditko, persisted long after their working relationships ended. Industry struggles. The comic industry faced bankruptcy risks, shifting readership demographics, censorship under the Comics Code Authority. Despite these obstacles, Lee helped guide Marvel through multiple transformations. Personal challenges. Lee's later years included legal disputes, concerns about his management team, and the emotional toll of losing his wife. His final years were turbulent, but his legacy remained untouched. Global expansion and film revolution. Stan Lee's dream of seeing Marvel's characters beyond comics came true with massive success. Early attempts before the MCU. Lee supported various adaptations, animated shows in the 1970s to 80s, TV movies and series, early film versions of Hulk, Punisher, and Spider-Man. Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man, 2008. The MCU launched a new era. Lee's cameos in nearly every film became iconic Easter eggs. His influence helped turn Marvel into one of the most successful film franchises in history. Awards and honors. Stan Lee earned numerous recognitions, including a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, National Medal of Arts honors, Eisner Award, Hall of Fame induction, Jack Kirby Hall of Fame induction, BAFTA and Producers Guild recognition, multiple honorary degrees. He remains one of the most celebrated creators in entertainment history. The enduring influence of Stan Lee. Even after his passing, Stan Lee's impact continues to grow. He shaped Modern mythology, pop culture storytelling, generational creativity, the global superhero phenomenon. From comic pages to blockbuster films, his characters teach timeless lessons about responsibility, courage, diversity, and humanity. Stan Lee didn't just create superheroes, he created a universe that inspires billions. Excelsior. Stan Lee, a deeper look into the life, philosophy, and lasting influence of Marvel's most iconic creator. Stan Lee's legacy is so vast that each layer of his life reveals another dimension of his creativity, leadership, and influence. Beyond his famous characters and public persona, Lee was a storyteller shaped by decades of cultural change, industry challenges, personal passion, and a relentless belief in imagination. This extended article explores those deeper layers, his philosophy, struggles, creative mindset, and the unprecedented phenomenon that his work continues to fuel. A deeper dive into the Marvel Renaissance, the early 1960s, an industry on the brink. When Stan Lee helped launch the modern Marvel era, comic books were recovering from strict censorship under the Comics Code Authority, declining sales of superhero titles, competition from emerging media like television, public criticism linking comics to juvenile delinquency. Amid this downturn, Lee and a small team of artists reinvented the genre with bold, character-focused narratives. This shift revitalized the entire American comic book industry. Marvel's storytelling revolution. Stan Lee introduced several innovations that became industry standards. 1. Cross-title continuity. Characters appeared in each other's comics, creating a living, breathing universe. 2. Real-world locations. Marvel heroes lived in New York City, not fictional places, making them feel grounded and relatable. 3. Modern dialogue and humor. Lee's conversational, witty writing style helped define Marvel's energetic tone. 4. Serialized story arcs. Plots continued over multiple issues, creating long-term emotional investment. These elements helped Marvel stand apart and grow into a worldwide cultural phenomenon. Stan Lee's creative philosophy. Stan Lee's storytelling philosophy rested on several foundations. 1. Humanizing the extraordinary. Lee believed that the best stories emerged when supernatural abilities met real human problems. For example, Spider-Man faces guilt and everyday struggles. The X-Men symbolize discrimination. Iron Man grapples with technology and ethics. The Hulk represents inner conflict. He famously said, "A superhero must be flawed. Otherwise, he's not believable." 2. Moral complexity. Lee wanted readers to reflect on questions of responsibility, courage, and choice.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.